Welcome to the Casey Ingram Show, Meet Your Candidate series. No spin, no agenda, no endorsements, just the candidate. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the many listeners who submitted questions for this interview. Several of these questions have been incorporated into today's discussion. Questions are not shared with the candidates prior to the interview. If you enjoy the show and would like to stay informed on the local issues and elections, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm Casey Ingram. Let's get into it. I'd like to welcome Amy Pritchett back to the show. Amy is the current Martin County School Board District 4 representative and is seeking re-election to another term. So, Amy, welcome back to the show today.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Really appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday afternoon. We are interviewing over the weekend and the show will be released during the week. So we'll just get right into the questions here, Amy. You
Sure.
served on the school board during a period that included COVID recovery, curriculum debates, book challenges, and leadership transitions. What accomplishment are you most proud of, and what do you wish had gone differently?
So when I came on, we were back to school full time. There was no virtual, there was no distancing. So I was fortunate that we were kind of in a regular school setting, if you will. There wasn't the trauma from the COVID era, so to speak. To date, my most proud accomplishment is what we accomplished together as a school board. We got back the A that we were hoping for sooner, but it took 7 years, it took from when I entered, it took 4 years to get to the A. I should say 3 years because it happened right during the start of the third year of my term. And we worked very hard to accomplish that. And it was an all in from all of us. We really felt comfortable with the superintendent's vision and what he was wanting for the district. And we supported it. And because of that, I believe that's how we got to where we are now. In addition, I'm proud of this as well. When I came into the district in 2022, we had 12 schools that were C or below. 10 of them were C's and 2 of them were D's. We are now sitting at 4 C schools, but there's more work to do. But having been able to bring 8 schools up is a very good accomplishment, including we now have 3 A high schools and 2 A middle schools and 1 B middle school. So we're really climbing. Our vulnerability is the elementary, and we're working on that every single day, and we're not going to stop until all of the schools are B or above.
Absolutely. And those are huge accomplishments. And I think part of that, if you agree, even on the COVID thing, while they were back in school, being out of school as long as they were, there was a challenge bringing the kids back up to speed. Did you find that was the case?
Absolutely. I mean, we had children who were wearing masks. They couldn't see their teacher's lips. They were remote, not just remote, but they couldn't even see their teacher's entire face. And when you're learning how to speak, you have to see lips. You have to see how to form those letters, and you can't do that with a mask on. So yes, and I would say we lost about 2 years of great education time, and those kids had a lot of catching up to do. But like I said, we had an innovative superintendent and a board that was all in on getting those kids where they needed to be. And that's really, honestly, it makes my heart feel so good to know that we were all doing it together. Nobody stood out and said, I want this or I want that. It was collective, and we accomplished a lot. So I'm really proud of that.
Now, did your children attend, or do they currently attend any Martin County public schools? I don't think you have any currently attending.
No, my children are grown, but I like to think that a great school community makes a great community. People move here because they want good schools, and I think we're giving them that. In fact, people are moving here from within Florida, Casey, to come here to Martin. Palm Beach, Broward, Miami, all over Florida, mostly southern. And they're coming here because our schools are making their mark. And I'm really proud of that.
Martin County schools continue to show improvement in FAST scores and other academic metrics. What specific actions would you take to accelerate those gains? And please be specific as possible.
So we've made really good gains in reading. We were at a 53% when I came in 2022. We're just at 65 now. So I still think we need to focus on reading and language. However, there are other things that come into play. And I think it is really important that kids have a wide variety of things to choose from. And in doing so, it keeps their interest up. They look forward to doing well because they know that they can do these other activities, sports, art, music. And we have a really robust curriculum, but we also have a robust extracurricular. And I think they complement one another. And I see our kids being able to accomplish more when they are invested, not just in those core subjects, but in those extracurriculars as well.
Moving on to another topic that's always a hot topic, teacher recruitment and retention are frequently discussed during campaigns. Beyond simply saying we need to pay teachers more and support them, what specific policies or initiatives would you champion or can you champion to help attract and retain high quality teachers?
Well, we are proudly paying the highest salary on the Treasure Coast right now at $53,100. We contribute $6,500 to their health insurance. We are always striving to find ways to implement perks that may not appear in their paycheck, but things like comp time, things like professional learning, where maybe they don't have to come into the classroom setting to get that learning. But I really feel over the past 4 years, every single year, we've given them more. And we are trying to keep healthcare costs as low as possible. And we may end up doing something really innovative. I can't give you all the details yet, but I can tell you that we are looking for ways to drastically reduce healthcare costs for our employees.
Good to hear. I know everybody's going to want to hear about that when you're able to talk about it more. Healthcare is expensive for everybody, teacher or not.
Yes.
So, Amy, another common criticism of public school systems nationwide is administrative bloat. What are your thoughts on the current level of administration within the Martin County School District?
Well, for the past 3 years, our superintendent has been working diligently to cut that bloat at the top. In fact, our deputy superintendent has retired. We are not putting that position in place. We're going to make it like an executive director position at a lower salary. And we are moving people around so that we don't have so much top heaviness. And you'll be able to see that. The superintendent will be presenting that, I believe, at our June regular meeting or July regular meeting. And every year since I have been working with him, he has cut positions to save money for the district. Plus, we rolled back our tax rate again.
It's huge. That's absolutely huge. Now, how much further do you think you have to go? Where's that right balance between classroom resources and administrative staffing?
It really depends on the programs, Casey. I feel right now we're at a very good balance, but I will tell you that we're always looking. And if we see something that we think can work better for less, we're going to do it without at any risk to taking away student achievement or what they're getting in their education. We want to make sure we're giving them the best education possible for the right amount of money. We don't want things to be bloated.
Percent. And I almost can hear people shouting at me through the screen right now. I'm going to jump back to the teacher salaries for a second. The
Sure.
starting pay, that's huge. That's fantastic. And that's been a issue that you all have worked on, and it's really come to fruition, and you can be proud of it. What about the senior level staffing?
Are you talking about our district administrative
I'm
staff?
sorry, the senior level teachers, not administrative.
So we have a millage in place, and every time that millage is distributed, our senior teachers get $10,500. Our entry level teachers are getting $3,000. We have closed that compression gap significantly. And now a senior teacher is making enough more where they're not complaining that we're getting less than a starting teacher. That's not the case anymore. And that's another thing we worked on over the past 3.5 years.
On to the next subject. Amy, school safety remains a top concern for parents. What additional measures, if any, would you support to improve student and staff safety? And the second part of that is, would you support expanding the Guardian program?
So, we've talked about that before, and we've had conversations within the district. I am in support of the Guardian program, but I will tell you, our sheriff's department is not. They are working diligently in all of our schools and have been for many years. And we want to support them and they want to support us. And we can't find that balance yet. And until we do, we aren't going to cut off our nose to spite our face with the sheriff's department.
How should the district balance parental rights with professional judgment of teachers, media specialists, and administrators?
Sure, can you say that a little bit differently? I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
So sometimes teachers, maybe your administrators have rules that overstep what a parent would think would be their bounds.
So I would use this analogy. If the parent is upset and wants some sort of remedy, I believe we need to respect that. But if a teacher is doing well and the kids are striving, I'm not sure that we should just kind of sidestep for one parent who's not happy. And I will tell you, when we do have parents that are having issues, we address them immediately.
Critics argue the district has removed too many books, while supporters say the district is simply following state law. How do you
Yeah.
respond to both sides of that debate?
So we didn't remove books that we removed books that weren't appropriate for the ages of the students. We sometimes move them from elementary to middle or from middle to high school. And we also implemented, which the state asked us to do, is like a weeding process. If the book wasn't touched in X amount of years, why is it still on the shelf? So we followed the law, but we also want books to be appropriate for the children.
Yes, that was a big discussion here a couple of years ago.
I know.
You were on the board during the Matt Theobald matter. Looking back, do you still believe the board's actions were appropriate? And what lessons should future boards learn from that situation?
Well, in his case, he asked for a hearing, and the majority of us voted to give him that hearing. And I believe the superintendent acted appropriately by asking for him to be out of the classroom and suspended without pay. And we're still waiting for the results of the hearing. My personal feeling was I'm glad that there was a hearing and that we didn't make a decision, because that just made the process all that more fair.
And how did you vote on that hearing? I know you said the majority board, but how was
I
your vote?
voted for him to be able to have a hearing. I was the chair at the time.
Okay. What are the most important criteria you use when evaluating the superintendent's performance?
Number one, that the goals and accomplishments that he sets out to have are achieved. And I look at that very carefully. I also look at my interactions with him and I will say to you that his ability to listen and also to think outside the box are really important to me. Sometimes we think, oh, you can't do it that way. And then he shows us that he can, and it works and it's successful. So I really feel when he sets out what his goals are and he achieves them, that is in my book an A.
What is one issue facing the Martin County schools that you believe is not receiving enough public attention?
I'm going to frame that a little bit differently. Our whole state with school choice, I think the message should be we need to compete with the schools that parents are taking our kids out of to go to. We want to be the first choice. And we do everything in our power to listen to what people want. And I feel we need to frame it differently. School choice is not going away. But what I think is going to happen in the next few years is people are going to come back to public schools because they're going to get exactly what they want, because Martin is listening to them and we're listening to them.
And I was going to ask you to just delve into that a little bit more. That is true. It's good to speak with the parents and know why they're leaving. It does seem to be it's not just a Martin County School District issue. It's across the state of Florida. Their students are leaving the school. So, what is happening in this next 3 years that's going to bring those parents back besides just speaking to them?
I think we're going to concentrate. We lose kids in middle school because of behavior issues where kids are raging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're raging hormones and their behavior becomes really not what you think is ordinary. And parents don't want to deal with that when they want their kids to achieve. So they're taking them into smaller settings. They're taking them into situations where their child is being taught one on one in many cases. And I think that we're going to be very creative and put things in place that give them that assurance that their child is going to get that type of education in the public school setting.
Voters elected you over former board member Tony Anderson, who has now entered this race. Why should voters renew your contract for another 4 years?
Started this conversation with when I entered and became a school board member, we had 12 schools that were C or below. We now have 4 schools that are a C. That's achievement, that's progress, that's accountability, and I think it shows you that I took it seriously along with my other board members. And I take nothing away from Mr.
Is there anything else that remains unfinished from your first term that you hope to complete in your second term?
Yes, I want us to achieve all B's or A's in all of our schools. I want our children's reading score. I know I'm not being a realist here, but I'd love it to be 100%. But I'd love to see another 10 to 15% climb, maybe 20% over the next 4 years. And I'd like to see an expansion of our CTE programs, which we didn't have a chance to talk about, but our career technical education for those students who don't want to go to college. They don't want a bill when they come out of college. They want to be workforce ready, and we are meeting that challenge.
Excellent. What are your thoughts on improving those reading scores by that much? I completely support that. It is a big jump.
So, because we've got so many wonderful things in place and we are climbing, we were number 11 when I came into the school district. We're number 4 now. We're 4 in the state overall.
Fantastic.
That's a big climb. That's 7 points. So, if 7 points equates to 12 schools going to 4 schools and 53% reading going to 60, almost 65. That's why I think it's achievable.
Fantastic. And we've been speaking with Amy Pritchett. Amy, again, is running for Martin County School Board District 4, which is the seat she currently holds. And Amy, just the final question here. Why should voters vote for you and how can they support your campaign?
So I have a website, amypritchett.com. But I will tell you why people should support me, because I do what I say I'm going to do. I speak truthfully. People know my heart and they know that I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it to get our schools back to where they should be. And I'm every day thinking of ways to make that happen.
Amy, thank you for your time here today. I appreciate you sitting down with me. Excellent afternoon discussion. Whether you agree or disagree politically, these are conversations that matter to the Treasure Coast. The goal here is to directly hear from the candidates and let voters decide for themselves. Don't forget, follow The Casey Ingram Show on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube for more real talk you will not hear anywhere else. I'm Casey Ingram. Stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you the next episode. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Casey. It was good talking to you.
You too.